Well, welcome back to 40 Days to a Newer You. We're so glad you tuned in today, and I'm so glad to introduce my guests this morning. On this side, we have Jesus, sometimes known as the Christ, sometimes the Messiah, the Prince of Peace, the King of Kings. And on this side, the devil. Or do you prefer Satan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, Jesus, Satan, I understand you two met each other in the desert wilderness. Now, for those of us who might not remember, I'd like to refresh those memories and read to you from Matthew, the gospel. You might not know that because you're Satan, but Matthew chapter 4. Verses 12 through, is that right? Verses 1 through 11. Sorry. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on a pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again, it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to them, "All these I will give to you if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. Whew, pretty heavy stuff. Jesus. What do you have to say about this story? What's your take? Highlights.
Well, I think the story speaks for itself. I was led into the desert by the Holy Spirit, and I didn't have anything to eat for 40 days. I don't recommend it. 40 days. After a couple days, you sort of get used to it. You feel okay. About 35 days, your body really starts to starve. So that's about where I was. But I was there with the Holy Spirit, listening to God's call for me, and it was really quite helpful to have this character come and just make so clear to me all the things that I wasn't supposed to do. So, after the conversation was over, I just kind of said, thanks, but no thanks. I'll see you later.
Yeah, well, really, thanks, but no thanks. It was away with you, Satan. It wasn't really thanks, but no thanks. I didn't really feel the love. I didn't really feel the gratitude coming down. That wasn't really my experience of this whole thing. And by the way, I do read that book. I'm in that book. I'm all through that book. That's as much my book as his book. So, let me tell you, I want to remind you, from that book, I didn't go away. You might have momentarily said bye-bye, but I was back. I was back in full force. I was there the whole time. Look, your beloved Peter, right? One day, you and he get into it, and what do you say? "Get behind me, Satan." Huh? Satan. Yeah. And then there were the Pharisees and the Sadducees, that brood of vipers. My guys. Yeah, my guys. They're all along. I never did go away.
Jesus.
We're giving you some drama here, aren't we? This is good stuff. Wow.
Did you see the Democratic National Convention?
this is no surprise. I mean, evil and temptation is always lurking around, you know? You say, I showed up with Peter, and I showed up at this time. Well, of course.
Yeah.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
the point. Yeah, right.
But what I'm interested in is all of the times that my people resist temptation. What this one doesn't get, okay? What this one doesn't understand is that you people are made in the image of God. You have the light of God inside of you. And I went out in that desert to fast for 40 days to reach the limit of what the human body can do. Because I know that you people are facing the limit of what you can do all the time. All of the time facing this temptation. And I wanted you to know that I'm there with you. And God is there with you. And the Holy Spirit that led me in the desert is leading you in the desert too. I mean, evil lurks around. Is this news? Really? I think
Depends
the news
on the news
is,
you watch, I suppose. So, Satan, what do you have to say about this?
Well, look, this business of you're always with them, but what good are you really doing? Now let's get real about this. We heard the story. My offers to you would have made a huge difference for humanity. I was offering you a deal, and you didn't take it. So all you've got is that you're going to be with them because you didn't really affect any change. Now look, I said to you, Jesus, come up onto the top of the temple, and I will give all of this to you. What do? You say, oh, no, and then later you go in and you topple over some tables and you throw out the money changers and you make a big fuss about all of the corruption. But from the very beginning, you could have ruled that place. You could have cleaned it up. You could have made a huge difference, and all you had to do was give yourself to me. And you're Mr. Selfless. You're Mr. I want to give myself on behalf of the people. Really? There you had it. It was offered to you, didn't take me up on it, and all we get is a little guerrilla theater. Look, I offered to make those stones into bread, and you know I could have done it. And yes, you were hungry. You have made such a big deal out of this, getting to the limits of, human suffering and all of that. Well, I could have fed you. I could have fed, comfort him, he needs it, I could have fed not only you, I could have fed not only him, but I could have fed everyone. The desert is filled with stones, and I wasn't just going to, make one loaf of bread. I was going to change them all, and we could have done away with world hunger. You and me could have done away with world hunger, and you say that you're all about feeding the hungry and clothing the naked and taking care of the least of these. Well, right there it was. And look, your own disciples called you out on that. Remember all of you, that woman with the nard, that expensive ointment? She comes into the room, she pours it all over Jesus, and Jesus is just there going, oh, yeah, wow, that's great. Whew, I'm loving this. And his disciples are calling him out. They're saying, you should have sold that, and the money could have been given to the poor. And instead, what you do is you turn around and say to them, well, the poor will always be with you. Sounds pretty callous to me.
Are you done?
I am done, and it seems to me that you, Mr. I've always got a word, is a little, speechless?
Jesus! Any response? Any at all? Anything?
I think people understand that what's being offered here is not real. You know? She offers magic and jumping off the roof of the temple and coming in with guns blazing and taking over the world. I didn't come to take the world back for God. The world already belongs to God. And we're not going to take it back by magic. So you wanted me to say, I'll lie, and I'll cheat, and I'll steal, and I'll kill, and I'll take up all the methods of evil, and then just say, well, it's okay because I did it for God. They know that's a lie. It's not true.
I don't know. A lot of others have done it, you know. I mean, really.
I know
really,
a
a
few.
lot of others have done it. They have done it. They have seen that, you know, the means justifies the ends. They've seen that. And look, I've got a great brand. You know, Flip Wilson years ago had this TV show, and he'd say on there, my tagline, the devil made me do it. Everybody loved that, you know? I just don't get it, you know? What are you about? What are you really, really about?
Jesus, what are you about?
I'm about bringing union with God and people. I'm about letting everyone know that God is with us and that we can share our bread with each other. People need real bread, not magic bread. People need real love, that kind of power. Not power that jumps off the top of the temple like Superman and forces everyone to look at them. People need real power, the power we share together as children of God. You're very entertaining, though.
This is just so lame and just what I'd expect. I mean, the love of God and the love of each other. I mean, you could have ruled the world and in your goodness done some good, and instead what we've got is love of God and love of neighbor. Ugh.
Exactly. Love of God and love of neighbor, the greatest commandment. Love God with your heart and soul and mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And that's the way God rules the world.
Well, folks, there you have it. Thanks to our guests for a good start of this Lenten season, and join us next week as we find out what Nicodemus has been up to after dark.
That's a good one. Yeah. Thank you.
Everyone, let's hear it for our guests. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. It's very, very nice to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. You've been a great audience. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it.